The book of Gospel according to John, chapter 2, verses 1 to 10. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever I saith unto you, do it. And there was set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. And he saith unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning does set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. There was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Isn't it wonderful that the Bible did not say there was a wedding? One of the major reasons that marriages are failing these days is that couples to be set their minds so much on the wedding day and go out of their way to prepare and make it the best it can ever be, while they expect that the marriage will take care of itself. The focus of this couple in Cana of Galilee was marriage and not just wedding. They understood that wedding is just a day, while marriage is for a lifetime. And the mother of Jesus was there. These days, couples no longer submit themselves to godly, tested and tried mentors who can spot a problem a long way off and give godly counsels to avert it. Unfortunately, no marriage ever existed without any external interference or counsel. It is better to choose consciously and prayerfully your own marriage mentor than to share your marital challenges with whoever happens to be around or interested. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. Don't wait until your marriage has problems before you call Jesus into it. Involve him from the very beginning. Tell him about the kind of home you want. Thank him for those things you appreciate in your spouse and those things you'd like him to change or give you the grace to be in your spouse. In the same vein, don't also wait until your marriage has problems before you seek for godly counsels from God's ministers. Many marital issues that have scattered homes might have been avoided if the couples involved had read godly books on marriage and or attended marriage seminars for couples before the onset of the problems. Knowledge is power. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, They have no wine. Despite the fact that the mother of Jesus and his disciples were called into this marriage, they still wanted wine at some point. Every marriage will want wine sometimes, someday. Wine in marriage is passion, erotic or emotional love. This erotic or emotional love intoxicates the couple about each other, makes the wife to submit to the husband without taking note of his mistakes, and makes the husband to love his wife without seeing her faults. Passion love animates and stimulates the couple about each other. Erotic love makes a couple to be excited and pleased with each other to the point of enthusiasm. Emotional love charges, electrifies, exhilarates, galvanizes, thrills, titillates, and turns a man on in his wife and a wife on in her husband. Emotional love makes a couple to behave as though drunken with wine on each other. It is this wine that is not negotiable in marriage. It is the oil that lubricates the wheel of marriage to make it move smoothly without friction. Without wine, marriage becomes a bore. A routine that soon becomes so unbearable that separation, internal or external, in the heart or physically in the flesh, and or divorce is inevitable. This wine is usually readily available at the beginning of a marriage. Continuous disappointments in the ways a spouse handles issues arising in the home are the main culprits that deplete wine in marriage. This is inevitable because you are both human, and human beings are more sensitive to other people's weaknesses than strengths. Thank God for mentoring. Before this couple noticed that something was missing, a godly elder noticed and informed the only one that could do anything about it. In order not to overflow the need for mentoring, especially for newlyweds, let it suffice to say that from experience, mentors can smell a rat a long way off, and sometimes they can even foresee certain things by divine revelations. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. Looking at the answer of Jesus here, one would think he was chiding his mother, but no, he was acknowledging the powers of a woman. Women were able to move Jesus to do things he would ordinarily not have done. In John 11:32-35, a woman was able to make Jesus weep. My dear sister, instead of complaining incessantly about your husband's shortcomings, why not move heaven by falling at the feet of Jesus to whip out the pain in your heart? You will get more and better results that way. John 20:11-17 is another example of a woman who was able to compel Jesus to appear to her before he could appear before the Father. She refused to budge until she saw the missing Lord. You too can refuse to give up on the missing wine in your marriage. You can plead your case before God in prayers until your heart's desire is granted. No wonder Jesus, in giving example of persistence in prayer in Luke 18:2-5, used a woman as an example. When you tell your husband something repeatedly, he will say you are nagging. But when you tell God something repeatedly, it is persistence in prayer. Instead of nagging your husband, why not look up to God in continuous prayers? So, Jesus was saying, Woman, have you come again with your irresistible requests? Knowing fully well there is no denying you, even at a time that I'm not ready. According to Jesus' example in Luke 11:5-8, a man can as well pray until something happens. After all, Elijah was a man of like passion like we are, and he prayed that there wouldn't be rain, and there was no rain for the space of 3.5 years. So, don't conclude that result-oriented prayer is solely a woman's job. Whoever happens to first discover that wine is missing in the marriage among the couple should pray through. If you are able to carry your spouse along, fine. If not, no qualms. You go ahead with the prayers until something good happens. However, just as Jesus thought, there is no stopping a determined woman. Verse 5 says, His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. For wine to be restored in a marriage, both the husband and wife must become servants. Most of the time, one of them will be the first to notice the loss of wine and crave its return, in which case he or she will be the first to become a servant. Philippians 2:7 says, But made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. It takes someone who has given up his reputation to be a servant. As long as the husband is claiming his rights and the wife is claiming hers, the wine can never flow. You must be ready to let go of who you think you are or what you think is your due. Because it takes someone with the heart of a servant to be able to do what Jesus will ask you to do. Wine can flow between you and your spouse again. All you need is a humble heart to draw wine where none exists. And there was set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. There were 6 water pots. 6 is the symbol of work days. Restoration of wine don't just happen in marriage. In fact, it can never be seen in the home of any complacent couple. To restore wine into a marriage is work. It is not even a day's job. It requires consistent daily commitment like your means of livelihood. As a matter of fact, you must be determined to have the wine back, otherwise you may easily get tired or discouraged along the way, especially if the wine has been long spent. The good news is that once the wine starts flowing in your marriage again, it will be worth the sacrifice you have made. There was set there 6 water pots of stone containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. The capacity to carry more than enough wine that will last throughout your married life is already there in you. You have a heart that is large enough to hold the wine. It's just that all the pressures that depleted the wine has turned your heart to stone. You have stifled the positive emotions you had for your spouse to protect your rights and stand your ground so many times that you hardly feel anything for him or her again. The capacity is still there in your heart, even though you have hardened it. After the manner of the purifying of the Jews, once a husband's or wife's heart becomes a stone in marriage, all that is left is fulfilling the traditions of men. You will keep up appearances, but there will be no more tenderness in your heart towards your spouse. You are now a ceremonial couple, warm outside but cold within. Jesus saith unto them, fill the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. We are looking for wine, and here is Jesus asking us to fill the water pots of stone with water. What has water got to do with wine? Ephesians 5:26 says that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Yes, you got it. Fill the heart of stone with words to sanctify and cleanse it. Speak words of kindness, of love, of appreciation, even if you don't feel what you are saying, even when you don't think your spouse deserves any good word from you. It's not about what you are feeling now, but what you will feel later. Water is not wine, but water became wine. Loving words from the mouth, coupled with loving heart, may not be the same as those from the heart, but when you keep at them, they will fill your spouse's heart to the brim, and something good will happen. It might take time to fill up, depending on how long ago your marital wine has stopped flowing. And he said unto them, draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast, and they bear it. When you fill your spouse with words and acts of love that you are not feeling, acting as if you are feeling them, something good will come alive from deep within your spouse, and when you dip into him or her, you will draw out wine, because he or she will involuntarily respond in kind to your words and acts of love, which will in turn bring the feelings of love back to your own heart. Before you say that, you can't pretend to your spouse just to bring back the initial feelings of love between you. What do you think those servants were doing when they drew water out of the pot and took it to the governor of the feast? They must have acted so convincingly for the master of ceremony not to have smelt a rat before and after tasting the wine. God is not asking you to fake, but to act out what used to be between you and your spouse when the wine was still flowing freely between the two of you. And he expects you to do it so convincingly that your spouse will not see you as faking it. It might take time. It was not easy to fill 6 water pots with water, but you will be pleasantly surprised at the result you will get. The wine will flow again. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants who drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and said unto him, every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. Scientific research has proven that the biochemicals responsible for the generation of passion love, which is the basis for most marriages, though some couples grow into it, lasts for just a year or thereabouts. However, passion love can grow into a more matured kind of love that will ensure the recurrence of emotional love between couples. The biochemical that generates this matured form of love is triggered by the things a couple do together. The more the number of things a couple do together, the more impossible it is for them to do without each other. This is the matured wine that lasts a lifetime. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. Once God restores your marital wine back, keep it flowing by making time to do things together. The more things you do together, the better. This latter wine, the love you will discover for each other, will be better and much more precious than whatever you had experienced before the wine ceased. If you have not given your life to Jesus, surrender your life to him now so that you can be in the position to call him for the restoration of wine to your marriage, and watch him turn your marriage that even you have given up on into his paradise on earth. You may also watch a video or read a book, Self-Deliverance from Spirit Husband and Wife. Please keep sharing and resharing these videos. You will be helping someone out of a long-standing problem. See you in the next episode. God bless you.